I think it's broken, but it's a package from China. Hey, it's awesome that you're tuning in. So in today's video we are going to talk about the Power Kiddy X2. Yes, because there is a new model and they are getting pretty damn close if it comes over ripping off the Nintendo Switch, because I think that is their personal mission. I did a review of some, let's say, fake Nintendo Switch systems, but this thing is getting really close to the real deal. But still, it's of course not like the original Nintendo, because nothing beats the real deal. But in this video I just wanted to talk about what are we going to get with the device and what can you expect, and is this thing even worth your money, because it's not cheap. It sells around $75. Maybe you can find a little bit expensiver or cheaper, depends of course where you buy it. There's no HDMI cable because we haven't TV out, only getting a cable for charging. That's it, nothing much for the money. So we're going to put everything back in the box and we're going to take a close look about the system, and let's do a little bit of a nerdy talk too and play some games. Alright, so let's begin with a side-by-side comparison with the original Nintendo Switch. On the picture on AliExpress it looks all fancy, but you can see when you put them side by side there are some big differences. The shell is completely different if you compare it with the Nintendo Switch, and the Power Kiddy has a bigger display. And sadly we cannot remove the controllers from the Power Kiddy like with the Nintendo Switch. So if you put them side by side you can see it's a big difference. And are handheld from two different worlds. With the original Switch we're getting of course the connector is going to be needed for connecting to the dock, and with the Chinese we're having two micro USB and a reset button. And at the top we're also having some different buttons with the Switch and of course the Power Kiddy. So when you're putting the controls side by side with the Nintendo Switch and the Power Kiddy, you can see there are some big differences. The Nintendo Switch has these very nice quality click each button and of course the analog stick. But here you have an analog stick and very long travel C buttons, and everything doesn't come even close to the original quality. And not to forget, we're only having one shoulder button with the Power Kiddy. So big difference in quality if you ask me. And the same story applies to the right joystick. Same cheap buttons with the Power Kiddy, horrible analog stick, and they replace the home button with a kind of a reset button. And of course we're having two buttons here with the original Nintendo and only one at the right for the Power Kiddy. But what is the Power Kiddy and what are we going to get? That is of course the question. So that's what we're going to focus on the rest of the video. So at the left side we're finding the 4 button that needs to be in D-pad, select start, and a horrible PSP ripoff of an analog stick. The right side we're having the ABXY analog stick and we're having a reset button. But this is quite interesting, so let's talk about that one. Because with this cheap reset button they did something differently compared with all the previous models I've reviewed. Because when you're in the game pressing the button it goes straight back to the main menu. If you want to quick load quick save you need to press the on and off switch when you're in the game. That opens RetroArch where you can make a save slot. You have different save slots you can use. Let's go back by pressing the on and off switch again. Alright. Go to loading, press A. And that's it. Very easy. And at the bottom we're finding two micro USB connections. So the left one for charging and the right one we can use a micro USB to USB and we can use the controller. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to, let's see how we need to fit it in. We're going to use an Xbox 360 controller and an UCOM from China. Alright, so with the Xbox 360 controller I plugged it in into the Power Kiddy, and the decal or the 4 LEDs keep blinking, but I did notice that I can't use it, you can see it there over there. So I ripped myself an arcade game, but sadly it doesn't respond in game. I did add some extra credits to make sure that I could press start, but nothing works. And with the Chinese UCOM PlayStation 2 controller I had exactly the same problem. Sadly it doesn't work that great in my opinion. And at the same position we're having two little speakers over here and there. And I can tell you it sounds pretty damn awesome. The first handheld with decent sound. At the top we're finding the on and off switch and volume control for the system, and having here an HDMI TV out and the CF card. But with the HDMI, there is something that you need to know. So for this part I'm just going to use a normal HDMI cable, and I'm going to use this little adapter. Keep in mind you can buy a cable that is basically just plug and play, that you don't need the adapter itself. So we're going to put it in, power on the system. When the system is going to get powered on, you first will see that the Power Kiddy logo will appear on the LCD of the handheld itself, and then when it goes out it will automatically switch to the television or your LCD TV. So with the HDMI TV out it was just plug and play, and the reason why I'm saying plug and play, with previous model I did needed to configure some stuff. But sadly when I was playing around with the PlayStation for example, it crashed already and I needed to reset it. There was no way getting out of the system. It didn't happen with all of the systems, but I just want to point out that PlayStation 1 doesn't work. So in overall, the HDMI solution is not really a solution, and it is flawed in many ways. And by the way, I just used a quick load, quick save, and the damn thing goes turbo mode. I did manage sometimes to get to the menu, but sadly that doesn't work perfectly at all. Because after the quick load, quick save and I went to the RetroArch once, I can't get out of the menu. When I'm pulling out the HDMI cable, it works just fine. What I'm very happy to see with the Power Kiddy X2 is that this thing comes with a very nice 7-inch IPS large display. It has a resolution of 1024 by 600, and with all the handhelds that I've reviewed with 7-inch displays, this is one of the best I have seen so far. And freaking finally, they removed the shitty camera from the back. Ah, it's about time. Okay, so let's talk about the menu and what are we going to get with this device. So in the inside we're having a 3000 mAh battery, and with my personal experience making this video, I did notice I got around 3-4 hours gameplay, and after that it was completely out of juice. When it comes to emulation, we are going to get 18, 16-bit and arcade games and PlayStation 1. There is no PSP and 64 or Sega Dreamcast. We can even watch a video on this device, and I can tell you that it looks pretty damn awesome with this IPS 7-inch display, but keep in mind it's in low resolution, of course. Then we're having the option to browse the internal storage. I would not recommend doing this. If you remove something, you will have a problem. With the settings, there are some new little neat tricks. For example, we're having different languages now. As you can see, quite some different languages. Display, and here this is getting interesting because we can swap between the original aspect ratio for the gameplay, and I think that is pretty damn awesome. That is something we were requesting for a very long time now. But so far I know there is no way of, let's say, switching between the aspect ratios in the gameplay. You need to go back to the main menu and do this. But we're having some more options. We can change the themes, just basically in background because nothing else changes. So it's really strange that they call it a theme. Here we can adjust the brightness, for example, timeout for the screensaver, and the way how you're going to connect it with your PC. Don't use a clear and restore, you will wipe your device. Alright, so let's try some games and let's see how good is the emulation. I already told you it's good, so be blown away. So the Power Kiddy X2 did surprise me with some very good improvements. To begin with, the 7-inch IPS display looks amazing, and not to forget, the emulation is very good. And I think the main reason is because this thing is running on a quad-core ARM Cortex A7 combined with RetroArch. Sadly, it's flawed in many ways. To begin with, the controls are pretty damn horrible with these very cheap, horrible analog sticks. The buttons are just okay. An extra controller can be okay, but it doesn't work with me. I was very happy to see that we're having an HDMI solution now, but there is no solution because it works like shit. And it bricks the system most of the time. So this is not a good solution. So, like always, they need to mess something up. And despite all of the problems, I still have a little soft spot for this handheld. Not because they're ripping off the Switch, but it's pretty decent if you look at the LCD display. So if they, for example, fix the controls, fix the HDMI and get a good working second controller support, I think this can be a very fun product for a very good experience. So I'm still very curious, what do you think of this handheld? But is this thing worth your money? That is something you just need to decide for yourself. I just wanted to show here in the video what you're going to get and how flawed it is and how good it is. I want to thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell, become one of the Wicked family, and it would be great to have you here. It means I will see you in the next video.